Hey, y'all. Patrick with Vetted here. Thank you guys so much for joining. We got some exciting news. It's going to be a great video, okay? The Department of Energy has come out with a website about UFOs, right? Now, granted, they're also throwing paranormal in there. So we're going to take a look at the website, some of the stuff that's on it, what you can find on it, and then we're going to take a look at a clip, okay, that is very interesting. I never showed the clip, but I put it in a description of a video I made earlier this week about the new UAP legislation that's supposed to be in the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act of 2024. By the way, that's getting a lot of pushback, right? It's not official yet. It still has to be approved by the House, so it could be scrapped or amended even further. It's not locked in yet. Again, until it's signed at the end of December, right, it's not official. So, but there's just a lot of movement, right? And I included this clip about the Department of Energy in there, right, before this came out. So I'm ahead of the game, y'all. That's right. Stick with Vetted. And we'll get you there. Anyway, I mean, granted, I didn't make that other video, but I'm going to show that video today. It's with Tim McMillan, okay, on an old Basement Office episode, right, back when Stephen Greenstreet was cool. And it's fascinating. So, but let's take a look real quick here. Dr. Disclosure. This is huge. The Department of Energy now has a website on UAPs, UFOs. Yeah, and paranormal, just FYI. One of the major signs that disclosure is near. What do y'all think? Is that a major sign that disclosure is near? Well, he gets a little pushback here. Love your post, Doc, but you don't honestly believe that, do you? Genuine question, not meant as a challenge. Feels to me like the waters keep getting more and more murky deliberately, and disclosure won't happen, period. Hopefully I'm wrong. And he writes, it's happening. I can understand that, right? Like, because if you look at the way the website is put out, it doesn't necessarily mean disclosure. It means disclosure on some front, but not necessarily like, oh, yes, aliens are here, right? This is all true. It's just more like, here's the stuff we have, right? That's all it's saying. So let's take, what's all the hoopla about? Let's take a look at the site. Bam. This is it. This is it, guys. Right here. Okay? So when we click on some of this stuff, I'll show you what we get. You've got some different stuff here, right? Different reports. I'll just show you what it looks like, right? Handwritten letters, emails, right? Incident reports. That's all. That's what we got here. Suspicious occurrence, right? Incident reports. All fascinating, y'all. Okay, take a look through all of this. It's all fascinating. And NASA, that link doesn't even work, y'all. Okay, so they got a link that doesn't even work. NSA, right? But let's look at how they're putting it, right? Again, unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and paranormal events. They don't even use UAP, right? That's the official, like, government term, right, that they've coined to use. Granted, it's been around for a minute. But look at all this stuff that they do have, okay? It is quite interesting. There's a lot of stuff on here, okay? A lot. To go through. Look at all these pages, just tons of reports. Okay, a lot to go through. God, we're gonna need AI to get on this. But it's basically under NASA FOIA, frequently requested information. So instead of people submitting FOIAs over and over again, they're just like, here it is. Here's everything. Right here as well, we've got the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, Preliminary Assessment, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, June 25, right? Unclassified. Huge document. You know, I guess not that big, but, you know, more than we've gotten. And then here, right, about that report. So all stuff to check out. Let me know if you guys find anything crazy or cool. I'll be looking at it over the next week and see what we can find. See what else is in there. I'm sure other people will too. I'm going to put a link to a Reddit thread as well that has a nice conversation about this. And of course, a link to the site, and you can check it all out. But let's get to what I find the most fascinating. Okay. Now, this is a link. I'll put this link. I actually included this link in a video early in the week where I talked about 300 days of disclosure, right? The new UAP Disclosure Act that's potentially going to be part of the National Defense Authorization Act, okay? Again, it's not official yet. There's a lot of pushback. It was only the Senate amendment. The House has still not converged on this, and they've got to approve it as well. And then the president has to sign it, right, at the end of December. So there's a long way to go on that. There's a lot of pushback on what's in that amendment. So I'm not saying it won't happen, but it may happen differently. So we don't know. And odds are that's what's going to have compromise, right? Like that's just the way it is because it's military budget, right? That's like what is fought over the most. But this is what's interesting. And I included a clip back then because I've always, ever since I saw this interview, you know, this was 3 years ago. Ever since I saw this, the idea of the Department of Energy has always been up here. And I'm about to tell you why. About to show you why. So Tim McMillan on the basement office, back when Stephen Greenstreet was cool, right? It's just fascinating. So let's watch it, and I'm curious what you guys are going to think about it. And maybe you've already seen it, but let's go to it. Here we go.
I was told by somebody during all of this, who, very older gentleman who has been around the game for a very long time. And when I said the game, I mean the intelligence and aerospace game. And he told me an intriguing story. And that was exactly what we just described. That first thing I thought was interesting is he said, listen, man, 70% of what you've ever heard about Roswell or a lot of the stuff came out in the 80s, total bullshit. 30% is true. And he said, there was a vehicle with an occupant. Those were his exact words. And it was intriguing. The idea where he said is that, and it makes a lot of damn sense, was that everybody's always looked at the CIA, the Air Force, all these people. They forget that the Atomic Energy Commission was founded in January 1947, so right before Roswell. Atomic Energy Commission was a civilian commission that was in charge of all of our nuclear weapons, but they were outside the scope of government. They were civilian, controlled the most deadly devices on Earth, but were civilian. And therefore their information is proprietary. They controlled that, and then first and foremost, like you said, if a car fell out of the sky into the 11th century, the first thing you got to figure out is how to fuel it, how to run it, how to make it work. And so the Department of Energy would be your source. And they said that whatever it was stored by them. And just what we talked about, the conclusion was made that we lacked on every facet, including kind of cognitive understanding. It was what was really compelling to me. And they could just be an old person making up crazy stories with a good background, was that they alluded to the fact that they weren't flying saucers. They weren't Tic Tacs. That they were something that possessed the ability to kind of make your mind see what makes sense to you. And so whatever it was didn't look like a flying saucer. So that's when he said all facets: cognitive, engineering and materials, energy, and the science to understand that we lacked. And so the decision was made to put it up till 1979, when the Atomic Energy Commission was ended by Jimmy Carter and the Department of Energy was enacted, and then it was moved to a private aerospace contractor who they're the Raiders of the Lost Ark holding it up. Chris Mellon. He was the Deputy Undersecretary for Defense for Intelligence, and I spoke to him Like, what did you look for? And he was the #3 highest intelligence official under the Clinton and then later Bush briefly administrations. He said he looked for it and never found anything like it. And I remember asking Chris, what about the Department of Energy? Because even to this day, it is a predominant, even though it's a government entity, it is predominantly civilian, and they are the only ones that have a separate security classification. Like, you could plan the bin Laden raid in the White House war room, but if you don't have a DOE Q clearance, you're not setting foot on their property. I mean, that's how they're very exclusive.
Yeah. I don't know about y'all, but that is fascinating, right? Fascinating. So, what do y'all think of that? Hang on. Hey, y'all, Patrick. So, right here in this video, I'll put a link to this. This was 2 days ago. And I had the link here at the bottom. Again, I didn't show the clip in this video. I'm not sure how many people watched that. But then after the video, right? Yesterday, that happened. So, odd coincidence, right? Very odd, in my opinion. But again, it's not like I called it. It just always stuck with me. That has always stuck with me, the Department of Energy, because I'm a big fan of Tim McMillan. Okay, I like that guy a lot. He writes for The Debrief. If y'all don't know him or haven't checked him out, please check him out. And again, you know, I miss the Basement Office, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I do miss that show. It was a great, great show. I've had the honor of interviewing Nick Pope. Yeah, I'm just fascinated by this. One, first of all, the story about the Atomic Commission and then it becoming the Department of Energy, the way they're able to separate themselves from the government, right? In a way to protect this stuff, right? If you were going to hide it somewhere, that'd be a great place to hide it, right? That's what they're getting at. And this idea that they're not flying saucers, they're not Tic Tacs, they have the ability to make you see what you understand. Like, that's insane, right? I remember the first time I heard that. I mean, my mind was blown, right? You see Stephen Greenstreet's face too. Like, that's crazy to think about. Would that make sense? Yeah. Because that would explain all the different types of sightings there are and the different shapes and sizes and, right, and colors and whatever. That would explain all that completely, you know? So, fascinating. I'm curious what y'all think in the comments. Is the Department of Energy something worth looking into? Does this take us closer to disclosure, this website? Or is it just some hoopla, here you go, some breadcrumbs to keep you busy? Stop sending us FOIAs, John Greenwald Jr. of the Black Vault. Again, love that guy, big fan. But maybe that's what they're thinking, right? So here you go. Everyone's asking. Frequently requested. Here you go. A lot of stuff to look through. I mean, it is more transparent, right? They are giving us more information. So, what do you think? Tell me in the comments. Are we moving closer to disclosure? Does the Department of Energy know more than they're letting on? And is that something we should be truly focused on, right? None of the other government agencies. This one. This one right here. Personally, that's what I feel. The Department of Energy is where we need to keep our focus on. I'd be curious what David Grush has to say about this, right? Or any of these other whistleblowers that have come out. Can they confirm or deny that the Department of Energy is where we should be looking or has more to do this than meets the eye? So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it. Again, as always, every day on Vetted, 12 p.m. Central, noon, new videos. So I'll see you tomorrow, the brand new video. And y'all have a good Saturday and a good weekend. We'll see you next time. If you love us, hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm. And, of course, love your comments. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. That would be great. Really helps us out a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.